That was insane.
Okay, this is fun. I'm so excited that I get to introduce this show. Welcome to the 100th episode of Life After High School. This is a big milestone. This is a, I'm so proud of you. So, my name's Cliff Skeletor. I'm hanging out here with Patty B, Glenn, the founder, the thought connoisseur, the maestro of Life After High School. Somebody that I met, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, a few now.
Give or take, and just fast friends. Why? Because I love your energy. I love what you're trying to do here, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, I won't blow too much smoke up your ass, but I did want to start off on a positive note.
I love it.
Because it's going to get...
If it goes to
get
shit
intense.
now, we have actually a positive note.
It's
like it did start good.
It's going to get rough, so thank you so much for watching this episode. Yeah. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things. You know, a lot of what we're doing, Glenn asked us, hey, you want to come in? You want to co-host this with Patty B? You want to ask me questions? Turn the camera around, turn the table around, get our pound of flesh, because we've sat on the other side from you with you asking us questions.
That's it.
So that's one of the kindest things you could ever do, is allow us to ask you some questions.
Pat.
Oh, man. Well, I think it's going to be good because, we're also, at a point where, last minute kind of, plan it out.
It's the best.
It's the best because Homeboy here, when he does this show, it takes 2 weeks to, take
Oh, you get real prepared.
real prepared, and we're just all right, man,
this, yeah.
roll the footage. All right, we're ready.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, that's the fun part about it. It's kind of like a jungle gym, right? Somebody might break their ankle. Somebody else might figure out that they could do a really cool backflip. We don't know what's going to happen here, and that's the funnest part. And I think ultimately we all enjoy talking to each other, so it's hit record and let's chat.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, Glenn, let's get into it, buddy. I think we got to start because a lot of people are interested in podcasts these days,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So many people are creating
Everywhere.
podcasts.
Everybody wants to do it. It's everywhere.
And it's a beautiful thing, right?
Is.
Because
Amazing.
people love conversations. People love storytelling.
Yeah.
I want to know from you, what was the original reason why you created Life After High School?
So, I'll focus first. I have two parts to this answer. The first one is with the actual...
Wait,
Wow,
what?
that's boring.
Dude, this isn't a deposition, man. Anybody that starts an answer like that is this is going to be a two-part answer. It's holy shit. I mean, I wasn't even ready for a one-part answer.
Man. Hey, if you want to poke your campaign statement in my lawn, hey, any day of the week, dude, I got you. I'll have a spot. Glenn YG.
You're the
for
best.
mayor.
Oh yeah. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed it. So we all kind of somewhat decided to have mustaches. Not technically true on my case. So Patty, I think you just been rocking that stash for a minute.
Hot minute, yeah.
Yeah, you got that old school Irish boxer thing going
I
on.
kind of love it, dude. I've been bringing back the polo too.
Okay, I could see that.
So
Yeah.
it's been great.
Oh, it works for you. You're a big, strong, manly man, right? So it's
I feel strong.
strong like bulls.
Strong like bull.
Me, on the other hand, I was just trying to do a trim the other day.
But you pull it off.
Thank you. You're very kind. I was a bit sad. I was because I think it was right after I said yes to this podcast. I was like, damn it! I'd like to hide for about a week or two. And then, this is how beautiful Pat is as an act. Sorry, Pat, you're beautiful too. But
thanks.
Glenn, as an act of solidarity, he decides he's going mustache.
I had to do it.
But not just mustache.
The handlebars, man. You look like Adam Sandler in Longest Yard.
This is part 1, 2, and 3.
That's a good
Yeah,
throwback.
dude.
Yeah.
Good movie. Great
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
actually. So, we'll back this up.
Back to the question.
We'll back this up.
Back to,
This is going to happen, but I need everybody to understand we will get there. So, the main reason I was working at a bunch of outdoor centers, summer camps growing up, and I always met these really kind of profound people, right, who were just succeeding in whatever they were doing, had these visions and these aspirations to do this and go here and climb that and learn this, and they spoke multiple languages. I still to this day maybe know
This is that summer camp.
a little bit of English still.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a summer camp for me, it's for teenage kids.
Yeah, I was
But,
working
adults.
there.
shows up and be like, all right, this is the...
Essentially, yeah.
Oh,
so you wait,
That's
hold
exactly
on.
like Wet Hot American Summer.
These were
Oh, wow.
who were the adults?
The adults were like
Can you show
People
me
who were, like,
on this cup
pre-adults?
where they touched you?
um
I'm playing.
top.
I'm playing. So you're at this thing.
I wore
You're a
socks the whole
kid.
time.
You meet all of these adults.
Yeah.
And these adults are doing cool stuff, and you're right away. You're looking up to
Or
them.
even not so much adults, but people who are like a few years older than me. Like I'd be like 17, 18, 19, they're like 23, 24.
Well, that's
I'm
an
like,
adult.
whoa.
Yeah, that's
Technically,
Ah.
that's an adult.
it's an adult.
If you have to put a label on it. But that's kind of what I thought with it. I was like, oh, these people are really cool. And then once I stopped working in that industry, I felt kind of a disconnect. And then I was like, I kind of want to find a way to meet cool people, kind of make new friends and do all this stuff that the same way the summer camp kind of did for me, but as an adult. And then listening to podcasts and doing stuff, I was like, I could maybe try this out. And then fast forward a few years, now we're here.
Okay, is that part one?
No, yeah, that's about part one.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so
that's
part
part
two.
one.
The second part was around like why life after high school is like the theme / title. The whole
Whoa! I didn't ask for the title yet. We're gonna get there. All right.
Yeah,
I love it.
But yeah, that was
he's
the
a little
answer.
bit. He's twitching a little bit.
That was
I was
the
like, oh,
answer.
God,
That was
I
the
didn't-
answer. Though.
I'm not so used to the questions coming this way.
It's very weird. I'm
falling
not used
apart.
to speaking for so long. It's throwing me off.
Well, because you have so much time to prepare all your questions. This time, you don't know what the fuck we're gonna.
we don't
ask
even
you.
know what the fuck we're gonna
I
ask.
don't know what the fuck I'm gonna ask you. Pat, you look like you had a question just
Well,
now.
I think it's
we go.
very impressive the fact of like, because like not like here like in your field day to day basis, like a lot of like the stereotype people work for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like-
Pat, I don't want to be that guy that's like on somebody else's podcast and telling somebody anything, but I'm gonna be that guy because I can't help it. That microphone feels so far away from your face. Is that a thing with you? Like you,
Yeah.
because
You
you'll
got a
notice that
fistful, yeah.
make a major difference. I just don't want your voice to be too high. In the back.
Yeah, if you
Well,
sit
I will talk loud.
I can up it a
Loud
little, but
noises.
I want them to hear you. Pat.
Okay, well, it's because I haven't been on the
he
podcast
projects.
like 3 times yet.
You haven't.
I have been twice, but
Your third time on it
Yeah.
as a host. Okay, I like how you're
But now-
gripping that, brother. You
now
got.
I'm
I
grabbing
know
this.
you got skills. Man.
oh, okay. So now we're
Yeah,
grabbing it. My
boy.
question. I'm blowing in
All
the
right,
mic now.
just tickle
So-
it underneath the cord. Underneath, just tickle
Speak
it a
it.
little bit.
Just a little.
Just
a little.
soft. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay, cool. But like in your field, like people work for the weekend, right? So like
More often than not, it is a stereotype.
right, but
Yeah.
now like that you're like after work trying to like pursue conversation like this to a deeper
Yeah.
level. Like man, it's different. It must be so different to be on a day to day basis out working than
It's tricky.
showing up here in the
yeah.
garage at like 8 p.m. and be like, all right, let's have a conversation about mental health.
Yeah. It's tricky. It is tricky. I almost feel the two separate. Like, I almost try to keep them separate for the most part. Even though over the next little bit, I want to find a way to almost, like, bridge the gap between the two and try to find a way to... Because it's, I have to make my life relatable, but at the same time, I want to keep my day-to-day separate, if that makes sense. And by day-to-day, I mean, like, the working, like the time working or the time spent working with, for, around other people. Just kind of makes it a bit... like, I could focus on other stuff, and then I can leave that out, because like you said, more often not the industry standard is, or stereotype, is...
Yeah.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
just
we're
be
good.
clear with the audience, though, just in case everyone's trying to play a guessing game here. You're in the construction industry.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you work in the construction industry as your day job, right?
Mhm.
So you do a lot of physical work there.
Yes.
Right, so you kind of exhaust yourself out. Probably have a lot of conversations, joking around, and like you're alluding to, there's some stereotypes there.
Mhm.
And then there's this, which is highly engaging intellectually.
I'd like it to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vision, yeah.
Yeah, and so do you find like this is like doing this podcast? What has it brought to your life that was different than prior to doing the podcast?
I'm way less pessimistic.
Oh shit!
Very-
Okay,
Very
Oh,
much
wow.
so. Like,
So
very
it
much
means-
that was
so.
fast. That was
Very
a
much
fast
so.
So,
answer.
so it's just brought more
It's
optimism.
so obvious
So,
to me.
okay, so do you think
Way
prior
more.
to this you were like more of a cynical person?
Yeah, cynical. I was easier triggered by things that now I wouldn't even think to bother me, let alone... Now they annoy me that they bother other people.
Okay.
Right? Right?
Why does that even bug you?
Yeah. Literally. Whereas like
I do
3
that
years
with-
ago, I was like,
Dude, I do it to myself all the time.
Yeah.
I'm constantly like, I'll get annoyed by something in my head, and then the next thought is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you annoyed by that? And then it's like this like fucking hamster wheel in my head. It's
Yeah,
like
man.
I'm mad that I'm mad, and now I'm mad that I'm mad that I was mad, and it's like Jesus Christ, I'm in a labyrinth here. I'm just fucking trapped. I'm like Jennifer Connelly getting chased by fucking David Bowie. Or I'll just a not age appropriate David Bowie.
Wow. I was thinking about Harry Potter and the Labyrinth.
Oh, okay.
And
there's
like
there's an age
Robert
gap
Pattinson,
here,
yeah.
so I kind of go. My throwback throws back.
Oh.
Right?
he doesn't throw halfway.
Yeah, exactly. Like mine will
the
throw.
whole Hail Mary.
Oh yeah, mine will throw your hip out.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm
I
saying,
bet.
dog? Yeah.
Especially young David Bowie.
Oh,
Hey-o.
oh man! But in that, he wasn't even young in that movie. He was uncomfortably like. Just Google it at some point.
Yeah.
Just go like, how creepy was Labyrinth, and you'll be like, your jaw will be on the ground. You'll be like, if you put that in a movie now,
There's a lot.
there's a
like
firing
that.
squad.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Literally in the theater.
Yeah, yeah.
Ready.
The Rock shows up.
There has to be a public execution. Like it's the only way to
the
even the
only
playing
way.
field.
Jeez.
All right, let's turn this
Yeah.
back around on you, though, brother.
So part 2 now.
Okay.
So,
So like you said, now life after high school. Like,
yeah.
what was the gap between like at that point of like creating a podcast?
The gap was just reps, honestly, at that point. That was a tough part. It was. There were.
Because I remember your first episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, is it rough?
Oh, dude.
I've
So like
paid somebody
Lent?
a lot of money to try to forget my first.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
I really hope you did.
Yeah.
Jesus
I would love to
You
see
gotta
those
put-
invoices.
Dude, you gotta put a compilation together.
I'm going to. I'm going to.
this
It's in the
episode-
works.
In
like,
this,
it's in
hold
the
on,
works.
hold on. Cut to it.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Welcome to the show. Appreciate it. Hey, shaking hands right away.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. What's up? Yo, thanks for being on.
Anytime.
What? Thanks for doing this, man. Ali, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Yeah. Eggers, my guy. Hello. What's up? Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on the show. Ali, welcome to the show. William, my guy. Welcome. Thanks for your time. Show.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Come on, buddy. Welcome. We're 22. Brother Dan over here.
Super stoked. We
Hi, buddy. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you. Cheers, man.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate the monster.
Welcome back. I'm Soupy Guys. David, welcome back. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Show, man.
I don't know, brother.
Awesome. Those of
Brother, I really appreciate you.
Me. Pleasure to be here.
Garth Mullins. Show, man. Welcome, man.
I try to ask people.
Thank you. I'm really excited.
Oh, great.
No problem.
Welcome to the show. I'm so happy we
Had been dealing with depression.
Big
appreciate you coming on, brother. Welcome to the show, man. I cannot wait to welcome to the podcast very much.
Thank you.
I'm really glad you're able to make it. Awesome, sir. Awesome. Welcome to my.
Oh,
Welcome to the show.
from the moment I was born. Looks good.
Welcome
Thanks,
to the
buddy.
dungeon, the compound. Welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you, sir.
Gentlemen.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Aaron, welcome to
Thank you so much.
And it's kind of like really awesome. So I'm really adult.
So,
I feel like my skills are there.
I'm super excited to talk to you today. Aaron, first and foremost,
amazing Jess McShane.
Nina Kuchra.
Was the other. Oh my god, those were crazy.
Yeah, man.
Those are crazy.
It's bad. So many people, dude.
I can't believe we just sat through that. Idea of podcast comes into Glenn's head at some point. You're not just all of a sudden doing it. Like there's a point where you're walking around with the idea of doing a podcast. Tell me about that, Glenn. What's going through his head?
The idea kind of went through, it was going, messing around, playing a bit of verbal ping pong with people, kind of deciding, like, hey, do you think that'd be good? What do you think? Again, silly, kind of asking other people's opinions for something that they haven't done. But, like I said, back in the day, it was a bit different. But basically what happened is I remember hanging out with a friend of mine, and we were talking to him about it, and I was like, dude, like, we were drinking, it was family day, and I was like, you know, I kind of want to start a podcast. And he's like, yeah.
And then good story starts with like, oh yeah, we're drinking.
Yeah, man. And the problem is though, so we started it. It was going well for a few months. It was kind of cool to kind of understand like what we were doing, but my vision was clearly different from his vision. He wanted to have like a kind of slapstick style comedy show. and I kind of wanted to just understand and engage more with people and like meet all these people. And he's like, I don't really. That kind
That's
of
a big
separated us
deal.
a bit.
That's
Yeah.
a big deal that you don't think of right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're about to do a podcast
Huge.
with a partner,
Huge.
it's so important to just get real clear on what the themes of the podcast are.
Extremely important, underrated thing that needs to be taken care of right away, because we find out 6 months in, and you think my first episode was bad, where I asked him like what his favorite color was. I was all over the place asking his opinion on like the hog, like whatever, right? We had one mic, right? A Yeti mic right in the middle, right? You're there, I'm here. And I thought of this great idea of having fidget toys, because I was at this conference, this leadership conference back in 2017, that we had like fidget toys, right? Keep us distracted, or keep us focused, right? So we both had a fidget toy. We both had Rubik's Cubes that we were playing with right in front of the mic, like this, while we're having the podcast. So Cliff, you're talking, I'm talking, but we have one mic, so where my water bottle is, and we're both like this,
Yeah.
talking to each other. Yeah,
Well, that was
what
dumb.
your day?
Yeah, it was a dumb
People, I listen to it. It's published on Spotify, and you can't hear a word any of us are saying. It's just
you're like,
for an hour and a half.
You're like, okay, I've got an idea. We're going to talk. But while we're talking, we're going to put something in front of the microphone
Yeah.
and make noises with
It's
it.
basically
People
it.
are going to love it. People are going to love it.
So,
okay.
like,
It was bad, really bad.
dude, like you've listened to it and you published. So did you published it and didn't listen to it? You're like, fuck it, let's.
A lot of people gave me feedback and were like, "We can only hear Rubik's Cube," and I was like, "Why were you guys doing Rubik's Cube?" I'm like, "Oh, you watched the video." Me being me, right? He's like, "Oh, thanks for watching." They're like, "We listened."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh no!" And you could tell from the video, from the audio, that it was a Rubik's Cube.
Okay, so you did this. What I'm
Yeah,
gathering,
bad.
sorry, I'm kicking the cord under there.
No, it's
So what I'm gathering is that you did it because you wanted to connect with people and you
Yeah.
wanted to have deeper conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so you had a partner at one point. He was like, I want to do something a bit more slapstick,
Yeah.
funny. It was almost like inside the actor's studio and then the Conan O'Brien show. And
I
you're
get
like,
it,
we're
yeah.
doing different shows here,
Exactly.
right? I want to
Exactly.
connect in a deep way.
Yeah.
So you get rid of him.
Yeah, we kind of just stopped doing it.
Well, this is my
Where are you
straw,
aiming
my
for?
straw.
Oh, I was like,
I'm
where
gonna
do you
hit the
wanna go?
lens. I'm gonna hit the
Oh.
lens. Ah, damn it. A little bit high.
We'll try it again later.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm throwing
record it
garbage around
later,
in your
but
garage.
it's
I
all right,
promise
gotta
I'll
sweep
pick
it.
that up
No,
at
you
some
don't have
point.
to. I'll sweep it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's it all became different. It all became different, and we kind of just went separate ways with certain things. He kind of stopped doing it. It got awkward though.
Oh, dude, I bet. You're
Yeah,
like,
man.
hey,
like
it's-
during episodes, because people are like, "Yo, we heard you talk about the same story on the last 3 episodes." Like that was our feedback. Right now, I get very different feedback than when I was there. People like message me and go, "Yo, you guys gotta stop referring to the same exact story that happened every single episode."
Oh, so you guys were getting on and just telling the same stories.
same
over and
things
over
pretty
again.
much with the different people, different setting. So we were like switching up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't
It's
know.
like your
Yeah.
audience is sitting there going like, "Yeah, dude,
We've heard this one before.
you get it." Yeah, yeah.
It just keeps repeating itself. It's like, this is weird. It's like a broken record. And having that, I was like, ooh. Whereas now my feedback's very, 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 very specific.
Well, let me build on that a little bit, okay?
Please.
Because so we understand you get into the podcast, but now it seems as though you're starting to download information, right? You're starting to learn in real time.
Yeah.
100 episodes in, what do you think is one of the biggest lessons you've learned podcasting?
Don't ask. What's your favorite color?
What was the answer anyways?
Blue.
Oh, did you ask me that? I feel like you did ask me that. No?
I don't
No, that was the first
I
episode because he
did
told me,
maybe.
"Hey, can you get on my show?" And I'm like, "What is the show?"
You were on the first episode.
No. Like,
Oh.
what? Probably 60, whatever.
Beginning of
Yeah.
2020, yeah.
Beginning
Yeah,
of 2020, and then he asked me to be on the show, but I'm like, I need to know what the show is about.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went back in time and started listening from day
Oh,
one,
you checked it out.
and I was like, "Oh God, I don't know what's my favorite color. I'm colorblind."
Yeah. Okay.
But
Make sure my battery's charged. Make sure my memory card's stored. And one thing I really noticed is, so I listened to a bunch of podcasts on this one guest, and it kind of made me want to be so different than what she was being asked before, right? And be completely different than everything she's been talking about before, that I ended up
You talk
just
about
trying too hard to
which
not make
episode?
it. With Jillian Best.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
so when I was
Good.
in London filming with her at her place, I listened to like 3 different shows she was on. And I tried so hard to avoid those questions and I felt like I was like, hey, I can't do that. And then once I got like, she kind of wouldn't really give me much. And then about 20 minutes in, I started asking, I started asking questions that I was curious about, and just like, you know what, fuck it. And then I just went in and started asking different, like, my type of questions, the things that were related to what she's been asked before. And she's like, oh, interesting. Because I needed to ask those questions to get further and further to peel layers back. I can't just jump 4 layers of a question, right, to get to what I want to talk about. So
I love that
was
Shrek
tricky.
reference. Everyone's like an onion.
Oh yeah. You
That's
gotta
basically
just keep
peeling
it
layers
back.
on people, eh?
Yeah, man. I had to do it, but you can't just skip that. So being able to kind of getting out of my head with episodes was a big one, but mainly for the research part of it. And then the biggest lesson, one of them, had to have been one that I'm thankful for you, which I've referenced it a few times, but never like directly. The one thing that you talked to me about, I think he knows this too, but the rejection therapy, we call it, where you're like, you're sitting in here, and we were just chewing the fat one day, because I had moved, and I was like, dude, I got a studio check, and you're like, yeah, I'll swing by. So then you're like, dude, like, ask people, like, just ask. And you challenge, you're like, do X amount of people over X amount of days. So I did that, and then I got one no that turned into a yes later. And that was the only of, like, the 35 people I reached out to that, like, didn't. And the goal was consistency, like, to make it as consistent as possible. And then it just got to a point where I was just like, I don't care if they say no.
Yeah.
And then none of them did, and then it was really weird, and then I just got way more confident in doing that, and it's like, you can just ask for things. And now it baffles me that people just don't ask for things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all have that fear of rejection, right? And so, you have to actually get practice at it. You have to get used to it so that it doesn't, it's not such a big deal. I'm sure you could relate to this, Pat, because, you do a lot of training, you work with a lot of people. I'm just going to turn this on you for a second. Talk about that for a second, though. What it means for, like, people to come in and practice a technique even when they're not good at the technique.
Well, I think it's just like at the end of the day, like, we're all hitting a plateau, and then the only way to go and burst plateaus is work harder.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then I think like everyone that listened to the show or that's been part in your corner, Glenn, you just saw the amount of work since that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that you guys had. And you're like, oh, fuck, all right. Now the questions are better. There's a better structure to the show. There's a better, like, conversation and more fluidity to the conversation, because you're not referencing to your notes all of a sudden, but you're also like, oh, this is reps, but I'm getting good at reps.
Yeah.
It's
good
like,
point.
it's not practice anymore. It's like game time, because you showed up.
Well, I mean, you do jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is, I'm trying to think of things that I could connect this to. In physical, I find people could connect physical things together.
Yeah, I think so,
sometimes
too.
more than, like, more like intellectual type concepts or
easier to
emotional
relate
stuff.
to.
But it's like, it's that feeling of when you're trying to do, like, when you're trying to do your first, like, arm bar, and you're doing it from, whatever, top. Top mount, knee on belly, whatever, right?
I got a nasty one, but
I believe it, right? But at first, it's probably the most, like, let's say you have knee on belly, left knee on belly, and then you have to bring your right leg around. Again, I'm probably getting this all wrong.
No, it's perfect.
so
Keep
long.
going.
You got to bring your right leg around over top of their head so that you could lock their head from being able to escape the position, okay?
Yes.
But it feels, when you watch professionals do it looks so smooth.
It's horrendous.
But when you're doing it yourself, there's a mechanism that you have to practice where you're like, you're lifting your leg up and you're like, I don't understand how to get my leg from back here to over their head. Like, what am I supposed to just float my leg in the air? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Mind to muscle connection.
But exactly. Once you start to do, you're like, okay, let me practice this. Well, it's fucking janky and lame, and you're like, that's stupid. Everyone escapes it. You do it again, it probably gets worse. You do it again, you end up injuring yourself. You do it again, you kick the person in the head. You just keep kicking the person in the head and breaking their nose. And then eventually, you're just like, I don't even understand how I couldn't do this before.
It's amazing,
Isn't it the most phenomenal thing? So you just imagine that, like, if you could connect that together when it comes to physicality, right? Just you think about that with any like social construct. Some people are born with like natural. Sorry, I don't want to. It's about asking you questions.
No, I'm curious, please.
Some people have. It's easy to understand hard skills.
Yeah.
Soft skills are probably some of the most challenging.
Yes.
Hardest to study and hardest to improve skills. And that's, the fluidity of conversation, asking questions, even, facing rejection, reaching out to people and saying, I'm doing a podcast and it's life after high school and
This is where I'm from, this is my man, you're vulnerable, you put yourself out there doing that.
Your brain is fearful, but unless you stop and go, what's the worst they're going to say? Look, what's the worst? Like, fuck off? And then you're like, oh yeah, sure, you fuck off. Okay, bye.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't want you on that. This is perfect.
But you hang up the phone, and what has changed in your life?
Zero.
Nothing.
Goose egg.
And then you do it again. You're like, oh shit! It's like a superpower.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So that's your best piece of advice.
Is.
Okay.
Well, that's you, man. He just quoted you. He was like, oh,
wow.
No,
I got that.
That's
That's
one of the best like lessons I've learned from doing the podcast directly. Whereas like skills, it's like everything from like listening to conversations to kind of understanding human behavior. I find myself sitting back a bit more and kind of like listening and like observing more than I try to jump in and just add.
Yeah. Okay.
Jarble.
I'm gonna hit you up with a few, and Pat, jump in. I'm gonna go first though. Funniest guest you've ever had on the show.
Oh goodness.
If he doesn't say me, I'm...
Okay, present company.
Present company.
Off the table.
Okay, that's the best way to do it.
Save some feelings here.
Right? Like, my emotions would be broken if he
I
doesn't
could tell. I don't doubt it. Me too.
Right?
Armbar.
We've talked about armbar. Let's do arm bars now.
Wow. I gotta think about that one.
First one that comes to your head, then.
Ooh, it's because it's most recent. Ben and you. Ben and you when you guys
that
were...
podcast was about politics.
I was also drinking and like...
And
I was
a rowdy
that was
podcast.
funny to me, but...
Whoa. It was about politics.
Yeah,
Just give me your number one hot take from that one.
That everyone should vote.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a hot take. That's like a pretty generic thing.
I
want a hot take.
I remember.
I want a hot take. Hot take means it's got to be somewhat controversial.
Ooh,
well, I said it. I said something very controversial from that podcast.
What'd you say?
I'm like, it's from my dad.
Don't cascade
It's
that.
from my dad. It's from my dad. My dad said, like, whoever you're gonna go vote for the person that's gonna fuck you the less.
Okay.
yeah.
So that was the hot take for me. I was like,
Okay, I can see that. I like it. I hope you're not throwing your dad under the bus there. Like,
no, he
He
can
can handle
handle
it. He can handle it. Oh,
he sanctioned that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like,
Ooh, man. Jeez.
Jeez, I think I fried Glenn's brain.
I'm trying to think, man.
Yeah,
There's been a lot.
let's not how about this? We're gonna put a little caveat here for anybody watching that it's literally just the first one's coming to your mind. You didn't spend any time thinking about this.
Okay.
So if he didn't say you and you're watching this, get over yourself. You like that? That was sassy. Eh?
I love that.
Just get over it. Hey. It's okay. Just get over yourself.
Ooh, my friend Michaela. She was like the 5th episode I ever had on, and that was at a point where I expected nobody to listen or watch the show. So she was just talking about like guy stories she'd had, and I knew half the dudes in the conversation. So I'm like, no, really? He had that? Ooh, he didn't do this. No, what? I'm like, there's 6 people, including my mom, watching the show at that point, and I was like, even them are tuning out. I was like, I know they're not listening. So in my head at that point, I was like, nobody's listening or watching the show. I could talk about whatever I want.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, people are coming on to me like, oh, this dude's this size, is this. And I'm like, what? Yeah. No! Him? He acts so this. And I was like, whoa. I was just flabbergasted, Cliff.
For me, the get that surprises you the most.
This film director, John Mann from the East Coast. I had followed. I had had his co-producer and writing partner, Rob Ramsey, on the show, and then I've been kind of following them since, like both of them and their company and what they've been doing. And then he was like, "Hey man, I complimented him on like the new TV series they did in there."
What's the series?
It's called Pub Crawl.
Okay.
And I was like, man, like I watched it. It was really good. I'm super like stoked for you
Was it
guys.
really good though?
Yeah, it was. It was really cool.
Oh, he was,
And,
I looked in his eyes. He was being genuine.
And what he did is, and then he's like, thanks, man. By the way, I'll hop on the cast whenever you want. I was like, no way. Thanks, dude. This is
He
awesome.
just dropped the hammer and be like,
Yeah.
hey, yo, if you need a guest, I'll
Yeah,
be your
it was
guy.
like the perfect time though to like push to. So I was like, everything had kind of lined up for it, and then that one surprised me the most because he's very, 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 very introverted and very, very to himself. But he's probably one of the best spoken people I've talked to. Like most articulate, well spoken. He's like doing a documentary on like the Kamloops stuff in the residential schools and all that incident. Like that's currently what he's working on. So
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, he's doing some really cool, like impactful stuff. So for him to like give me
John Mann.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's the man.
J-O-N.
John is the
M-A-N,
man.
yeah.
One of my favorite
Good dude.
directors is Michael Mann.
Oh no way.
Could you guys, I'm testing you guys. You guys know? No,
I'm sorry.
that doesn't do anything for you.
Good.
One of the greatest movies ever. One of the greatest crime movies ever. Heat. Did you guys ever
Oh
see
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
With
that's
Sandra
Michael
Bullock?
No. Al Pacino,
Yeah.
Robert
Oh,
De Niro,
okay.
Val Kilmer.
Just a stack squad.
It's just one of the best
Dude, Val
movies
Kilmer,
ever
man.
made. Yeah, he's
Wow.
a beast. He's a
Man.
beast. Okay,
Yeah.
so what would you say is one of the most awkward, like where you just were awkward like during the podcast, like most awkward podcast episode?
This woman on, and I asked her a question about, like I had a lot of people tell me I should have her on, and then I had a lot of people tell me.
Are you allowed to tell us who?
I could tell you after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait.
So people
Because I think you know then.
I know the person.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what made it awkward.
What made it awkward is I asked them about something. So, you know what? Whatever. So, Mandy, I had her on. And I
okay.
immediately out of the gate, so she didn't want to do a video call about, like, going through, like, the logistics of the show.
Okay, so
And
back up. Let's
Yeah.
just explain your process to get a guest on before.
Thank you. So, good point. What I do typically is I reach out and I say, hey, like, do you have 10, 15, 20 minutes tops to go over the show, your expectations of me, mine of you, anything you'd like me to add or say,
Yeah.
and what you
And
don't
what
want to talk
not to.
about.
Okay.
Thank you, yeah. And so she was like, I don't want to do that, just send me the questions. And I was like, okay, that's not really how it works, but I'm like, all right, like, sounds good, cool.
Yeah.
And then I talked to a few people she knows, mutual friend Andre, and it was like, ask her about teaching. How'd she get into that and make the transition and stuff, right?
Oh, I know where this is
Yeah.
going because I know her. and
Yeah,
I know
man,
she
that's-
does not want to touch on that.
Zero.
topic. The fact that you're even touching on this right now, it's like, well, we didn't say the last name of the person. so-
No, and you could only find out if you like actually know the episode, but because
Yeah.
I got it out of the descriptions and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
but and the title. But what happened is immediately right out the gate, I asked. Like, well, because the transitions
It's
are
a
huge to me, right? Like,
super
why
natural.
people make these discussions, like,
Yes.
why you transition from one.
Are
full
you doing
career
this
to
one in
this.
person or is this
Over Zoom?
So this is a Zoom one.
Oh,
you do?
oh,
So-
through Zoom.
This is the
too?
one I did after you came on, and so didn't want to do it in person. So that
Yeah.
kind of already is like weird. But then that happened, and then like a couple minutes in, I was like talking about transition. She jumped to where she was now. So I was like, well, like how do we get from A to B, right? Like take me because transitions are like the whole. Excuse me. I want to peel back those decisions we make as
Yeah, of course.
people on the show. That's my driving force, and. She was like, that's my personal life. I don't want to talk about my personal life on air. And immediately I'm like, well, the show is about you. And then I was like,
So the floor gets pulled out
2.5
underneath
minutes
you.
in, and I'm like, I can't ask you any personal questions. Yeah. So that threw me off immediately, and the rest of it, I was like,
So how long?
I was trying to like
Yeah.
find it, but then I was like, I'm walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Trying to pick questions. It ended up being like a good episode in the end, but it was like I had to find something because the thing with introverted people versus extroverted people is extroverted people will like give you a lot,
Yeah.
but then when you ask them a question that they want to talk about, they'll like be more reserved, that they don't want to talk about the question. So if I ask something and you're like, you kind of go, oh,
Wait,
yeah.
you're saying this is about introverted people?
No, so usually there's a cue that social, like that introverted and extroverted people have that I'm able to kind of understand. In person, it works better. Like, but over Zoom, I've had it where, so if the person's extroverted and we're talking and
I'm going to pause you for 1 second.
Okay.
I'm just having a moment. All right. Okay. Let's figure out your formula here. All right.
If
let's
somebody
go back.
All right,
extroverted,
Yeah.
okay? If somebody's extroverted, they're gung ho all the time, right?
Okay.
Like their level of energy is very high.
All right.
But if you ask them something,
So hold on. You're saying if somebody's introverted, their level of energy is high.
I said extroverted.
Extroverted.
Yeah.
This is where I keep messing it up. So
I see,
extroverted,
okay.
they've
I'm
got a
like,
high level
I'm
of
trying to
energy.
be- I'm trying to
Okay.
stay here. I'm trying to-
Extroverted, they've got a high level of energy. Okay,
Yeah,
here you
right.
are. Okay.
So introverted people are very tough to read, at least for me in the beginning. of the show.
Introverted are. 100%. Yeah,
But
I'm with you.
extroverted, if they're all up here and you ask them or you bring up a subject that they don't really want to talk about, they'll like give not much of a response.
Okay.
Whereas
They'll try to pivot away from it.
exactly, but introverted people will do the opposite. If you give them a subject that they're very excited about, they'll be like jumping right into it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, so that's what Mandy did." That's where we took like the turn of, "Okay, I can get somewhere with this."
Okay.
That's where what turned that episode around was I think I mentioned something about training and like weightlift, like something specific.
Yeah.
That's what she was doing now, and she like immediately jumped on it and gave me a very long answer, and I was like, "Okay, we have something here. Let's focus on this."
Jesus.
But that speaks to your volume.
But that was
like,
25
reps.
minutes in.
That's reps, right? Like
Yeah.
your ability to like understand like your guests and be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, fuck, we just crashed here.
Yeah.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, but
Episode 1 that happens. What's happening? You just turn the Zoom off and just like close your computer and just
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like imagine
Might
if
as
that
well.
would have been your first episode ever. Fucking all right, well this is over. But now like you're X amount in, you're able to keep having the conversation. You
I
feel
was able to
the
pivot.
weirdness, and then you're able to pivot and have a good conversation, which turned out, in regards, to be a good episode.
Yeah, it did turn out well. Analytics were pretty good. But yeah, so in person helps because now you understand why that was.
Oh yeah, I could.
She's like, "Oh, you're like, oh, I can't believe you're talking about it now." I'm like, "Oh,
Well,
that's how it
her
was
and
in the
I,
moment."
we've done lives together
Yep.
and stuff, but she's always told me in advance. Let's just avoid that
I
topic.
didn't get that though.
I'm amazed. She probably was kicking herself afterwards for not telling you because she should have known better.
Yeah, and that was
Because that's
That's
not
alright.
your responsibility. Actually, I believe like if I'm about to go on a show
Mm-hmm.
and there's specific like red flag topics that I'm just not gonna talk about,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let them know. Right, I'm gonna let them know in advance
straight
because
up
I
away.
know that. Whereas if you're interviewing somebody and they don't do that,
Mhm.
it's like you don't know what you don't know,
right.
and that's on you. Like in my opinion, the way I would look at it, I'd be like, that's on
100%,
you. Like as
yeah.
if you wouldn't fucking tell me. Like
That's not how my brain's wired, right? Especially in that, I'm like, it's my show. I take the ownership of that,
I get it.
whether
I
it's
get
like
it, yeah.
you agree or not. But that's and yes, I would like. I'm like, well, I don't want to place blame in a
Yeah.
situation, but yeah, I can see what you mean by the
No.
as like
They-
a
this is a blame
third party. You're like,
situation.
no.
Dude, we gotta blame somebody.
Who's gonna take the heat?
Finally,
Yeah, exactly.
finally went.
No,
I mean, so
Okay,
but it also for you, I mean, put in your like questionnaire. If somebody says, "Listen, let's do this by paper," because some people have their preference, and I'm fine with that.
true.
You send over. Is there anything you want me to avoid talking about?
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of self ownership there. Like
Yeah.
you really fucked that one up.
Yeah.
You really screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to hog the questions, Pat. I'm gonna throw it over to you because you know.
No, my thing is I want to keep diving into this pivotal things. Like one was the first time that something like that happened. Hey, we're not talking about this because you can't show up on a Zoom call mid of 2020 and be like, I don't want to talk about this. And the show's been running for a year and a half already.
Yeah.
And be
Well,
like,
I think you
able
could
to,
do
like-
that in advance, and I think that
No,
also,
yeah, for sure. But like,
Yeah, I think you got to tell the person in advance. I think it's tricky once it started. Like once we've started rolling,
Yeah.
you better be like a master dancer. If somebody asks you a question you don't want to answer, you better. Or just do what you did. I mean, do what she did, which is great. Draw like a hard boundary and just be
Yeah.
like, we lost another light. But you know, I think the lighting's still great.
Yeah, it's
I
still
just
alright.
every
For
once
me,
in a while
it's
I feel like my brain's shutting down. So I'm like, listen, that happened, right?
no, but for me, it's more like the skill. Where did that first time you had to pivot like this on a show?
Oh, so the question
Yeah,
is
it's
when's
not-
so this?
'Cause,
So
like-
we're talking about this. So when's the? Yeah, okay, I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it. So when's
'Cause-
the first time you had to pivot on a show?
Because at that point on a Zoom call, first time
Yeah.
having, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
able to keep a show going and still have a pretty decent episode.
Yeah.
it needed to happen before, because
in the
or if could have been probably more on the like day-to-day grind at work at that point.
So what happened is I've gone through a lot of the beginning episodes, and despite all the cringe I have from like watching it back,
I really
and
hope you do, because you're
I do.
You're another level now.
Thanks,
so.
bud. Thanks, buddy. Tugging on my heartstrings, brother.
No, like he doesn't
So-
mean on a higher level.
Yeah. No, he's like
We
just
wanted
a
to talk.
different
That's
one.
why
He's
we're
like
doing this episode.
Yeah.
This is actually an intervention.
Still the same. You suck.
Glenn on
We've
trial.
never seen somebody get worse than this. And you didn't exactly start good. So
Okay. I can't drink while you speak, Cliff.
that's fair.
I gotta be better on that one. But you know, the first episode I've done a lot of like looking back on, and that was the first time that happened.
Oh,
it happened
yeah.
like 7 different occasions. Like right
Oh,
away.
okay, cool.
It was
Yeah.
bad. Because like the guest has this thing that you actually have heard called paralysis by analysis,
Oh yeah.
right? So they overthink everything, and then they just
You don't do that.
They don't worry.
You do that. I love it. I love it. You're very analytical, so I'll hear you sometimes even when you're answering
Yeah.
a question. I could hear you analyzing your answer while you're answering the question.
He's never been on that side of the mic.
Yeah, I've been hearing it during this. I'm like, oh, this dude is analyzing. You're still not, but you're not paralyzed. You know, it's not paralyzed.
Because I'll explain what that is. Okay?
Yeah.
So, the paralysis by analysis thing, right? People like, they freeze. And they're like,
Yeah,
they're
deer in the headlights.
overanalyzing.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is what people don't really allow much room for, which is like thinking before you speak. We don't do that. We don't do that a lot. And I'm sure I can remember times where like we've hung out with other people. You'll ask the group of us a question. Everybody jumps in right away. And I'm like, I actually want to give an answer. Right? And they're like, oh, because I know whatever comes out of my mouth first is going to be shitty. So I'm like, okay, I got to think about this a little bit and then give an actual answer that can do the question justified.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, sometimes it's a shitty question.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we got to ask better questions.
Oh,
So, right?
Now you speak to me.
Yeah,
dude.
dude. It's your language,
Wow.
your language, you know.
Language.
Well, for air, so yeah, doing that. That's it's trying to understand of like, oh, because if I like right now, if I dive right into it, I'm like, oh no, I want to go this way with it, but I want to go this way. It's like if I actually just breathe
That's
to myself,
analyzing, yeah.
I
That's
give
you analyzing.
myself a chance to think about it, then I'm able to actually deliver on a quality of answer that the person expects.
Okay, I'm gonna follow but like with your field must help a lot though.
Yeah,
Because you measure twice, cut
Yeah.
once.
Have
You're
to.
not like cutting twice, measure once,
No.
right? Like
Never.
that's me.
you have to like kind of. That's me. Yeah, dude. No, you gotta like you can't think about what is wrong with every little decision. And I do that now. I do that when I'm first learning a skill, right? Like I overanalyze it before I do anything. I overanalyze every step because I want to understand why I'm doing it to like the root of all cause, right? Like, why? Like why am I doing this? But then why? Like how far can I get? Like just based on questionings or self-reflection, right? And like the better questions I ask of that, the more I can kind of understand myself a bit, right?
What's going on here?
That helps.
That's gonna be easier
Are
for
you
me.
sure? Yeah.
He likes to, yeah. He's a big guy and he's he likes to lean back, brother.
I gotta
It's
lean
like,
back,
yeah,
yo.
exactly.
I gotta lean back.
Exactly.
That's kind of what that's my 5 cents on that.
Nice.
So,
That was clever.
yeah.
Good
thank
job.
you.
Nickel City over here.
Thank you.
Oh,
Are you going to, by the way, 5 Cent City?
Yeah, man.
sure am.
Oh, yeah.
MC again?
Yeah, I will be one of the MCs. Yes, that's very exciting. Yeah,
Sweet,
yeah.
man.
Christian's been great, very kind man. I like him a lot. Yeah, he's a special individual. You know what he's putting together. Look into it. 5 Cent City. We won't sit and spend too much time on it, but look into it.
Epic.
Okay, I got a question. Let's keep going. I like this theme of asking about previous episodes and kind of putting you on the spot here. So, what would you say, like, how do I want you to answer this, but I'm like,
What's your expectation of my answer? And then I'll try
I just want you to tell me, like, what was by far your most boring episode where you were like, holy shit, I'd rather watch paint dry.
So there's 2 pairings to this one, actually.
Yeah.
There's 2 pairings.
Okay,
Oh, it's
wow.
another two-part. It's another two-part answer.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, there's 2 really bad things that happened during this episode.
Okay.
So the one is, so it was one where I'm not going to tell the person, but it was set up by somebody. This was when I was like newer in the show, and like I was doing, but I had not been doing this. I just moved on from the find a student room in Laurentian University to like running it out of Mitch's recovery room. Shout out to him for that.
Mitch Gagnon, former
Yes, sir.
UFC fighter,
Yeah. certified ass whooper.
certified ass whooper.
Yeah,
I was
the
gonna
largest
get somewhere else
knees
that-
I've ever seen.
Fucking.
Yeah, but he.
Just a fucking troll.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Online.
hands down.
Just give everybody a hard time.
Yeah, I got a different story about that. But anyways, what happened is, it's like somebody, a friend / guest, like linked me up with them, and I was like, yeah, okay, we'll do it. And then they showed up a bit late, and then when they came in, she was all like good energy, but it was my fault though. I like to leave because I had somebody in a very, very similar age prior, and she was also in that same industry. So I had somebody right after in the same industry as what I just talked about. So it was like a repeat offender.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So then I realized I was asking the same questions, but to somebody else, and they were giving the exact same answers. I found that out 12 minutes in. And then after an hour and 45 minutes of talking to this person, I'm like, yeah, thanks. Like, it was nice meeting you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, it was good, cool. You know, send me links to stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. I go to edit the show. The camera went out of focus 3.5 minutes into the episode. Whole thing.
Technical issues are the worst.
Yeah. Whole thing.
Wow, that
Out of
sucks.
focus. You couldn't make out, like, you could barely make out, like, the genders of like, her and myself. Like, you can barely,
Hold on. I didn't know this was going to be one of those podcasts where we talked about genders. I'm going to have to go. I am feeling triggered right now. And, I mean, Glenn.
here we go.
Glenn, why did
Glenn.
you go there?
Why would
That
you-
wasn't on the list of things we couldn't talk
Yeah,
about.
I put that on the
You're like, that
list.
was the only thing.
Okay, so
That was that's what happened.
So yeah, back to back, same.
So
type
what
of
was the
thing.
other one? Because you said you got two.
No, it was the two parts of the one episode.
Yeah, two
Oh,
reasons
those
it went
things,
out of
yeah.
focus.
It was
and
boring.
He'd had back to back the same.
Oh, okay, so-
Yeah, it's
And-
not any fault of hers, but I would have separated them. But like at the same time, be interesting. You know?
That's
Be
yeah,
more interesting.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Or ask better questions.
Ask better questions. Oh, he fires
Stop
back,
slamming your
defends the team.
guys, dude. The audio. So stressed out.
They
here.
need to understand the level of frustration.
Because like your show like is also a great medium for people to like tell their story, right? Or
I'd like it to be, yeah.
right. So,
Okay, tell me what episode were you the most sexually aroused?
So it was actually episode 100. You're like, with the goons, I need 2 fanny packs, Pat.
yeah, your fanny pack never got that much of a thigh.
It's a nutsack pack.
It's a nutsack pack. What episode was it?
Oh, shut up! Is there an actual episode?
This was a tell. I'm just trying to think, man. Because it was obviously with a woman.
Thou dost protest too much, Mr. Glenn. It was obviously with a woman.
This is toxic masculinity over here.
Oh my god. That was... There's
good.
nothing... Let's move on from this question, because
Okay,
there's
no.
nothing you do to top that. That's so fucking funny.
So I was going somewhere with like the storytelling. So like a lot of people can like. Do you get reached out a lot to get on your show? Because a lot of people could use this as a medium
Once a week. But once or
really?
twice a week, yeah.
like to tell their story because there's an event showing up or what's not.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
wow, cool.
It depends on last year when I was doing I did every week for like 6-7 months. I get every time I publish an episode or anything goes out, people reach out to my Instagram. They're like, hey, I have a lot of, on top of that, I have a lot of people. Well, I have 2 or 3 people every month say, hey, you should look into this person, or hey, my nephew's doing this. I think it'd be cool, and I love that. I think that's awesome. That's really cool.
'Cause it
especially when
gives
I
you
don't know them.
momentum.
Yeah.
To keep going, right?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's really cool to see that people are like, yo, man, when people get excited about the show, that is above all, like, amazing. Like, that's probably one of my favorite things. Like, when people are like, hey, man, like, yeah, man, that was cool. Or, like, when we finish an episode and they're like, I've been on 5 or 6 podcasts before and this is my favorite. Or, that's the stuff I want to be asked about. Or, that's what I want to talk about. And I'm like, you've been interviewed by hundreds of people. Or, you've done, like, 5, 6, 7 shows. You spent hours talking to other people being asked about stuff. And my questions separated. Like, me, do you think that it's, like, much better? Like, that's amazing to me. So that on top of that is really just, I'm just speechless.
If we keep going with this, what was the greatest compliment that you got by one of your guests so far? If we keep going with this round of like compliment.
Yeah, I think.
Or the most impactful for you.
So I had I almost want to not go numbers because I feel if I'm going to go, I had 3. You guys, Cliff's going to be like,
You're like, oh, this is a 3-part answer.
carry on. I will not be voting for you.
2019. It was a very dark, cloudy day. Everyone's so annoyed right now. They're like,
I love it, man.
What a piece of shit. Poor Glenn's trying to do.
I teed that one up for
Poor
you.
Glenn's. He's just trying to do a serious podcast.
He's trying to
Cliff's
answer
over there
questions.
ruining the whole thing.
I love it. People think that was going to be serious here. They're wrong.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd set the expectation before with the post. You guys being like, listen, it's not going to be what you think.
Linda,
But,
Linda, listen. Linda, listen. Linda, listen.
I had 3. One was most recently, and I'll give them shout-outs. Nina was like, I've been on 5 or 6, I've been on like 6 different podcasts, and you're the first, like, this is by far my favorite, and everybody wants to know about X, Y, Z, and you asked me about ABC. I was like, oh, cool. My 4th or 5th episode, I think, Michaela was like, I asked midway because I was like, this was like, I'm still in the learning process, right? And still, right? You were talking about that earlier, Cliff. If you're not learning, why keep doing it? Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, like, after the episode, I was like, yo, is there any, like, how's my listening? Like, how are we doing? Like, were you comfortable? Like, opening up and chatting with me? And she was like, probably one of the best listeners I know. And I was like, whoa, amazing. So I really love that comment. And then Jordan, after the episode, I was like, hey, man, like, thanks for doing this. This is awesome. Like, how do you feel? He's like, dude, I get asked a lot of questions, and like that's the stuff I want to talk about is what we talked about today. And I was like, between all 3 of those that stood out to me were just kind of, it's people who do this, like, they're doing a lot of podcasts or a lot of interviews. They talk to a lot of people. They're asked a lot of questions, right? Yeah. In the public space or not in the public space. And I'm like, and for me to sit there with them and hear their story and just be curious about them for that amount of time and like ask them very specific and curious questions, it's for them to be like grateful enough and be like, yo, like, that's like awesome. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because I don't prepare that, right? I prepare kind of subject lines and then we kind of dive in and then I peel back layers. So for my brain to get to something that they're like, I talk to hundreds of people all the time and you stood out, it's kind of incredible. So
yeah.
Little stuff like that is what kind of makes me be like, we got something.
Not so bad. Yeah. Not so bad. Who are some of your mentors in the podcasting world?
Ooh, Tim Ferriss, first one I listened to.
Love Tim.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Yeah,
you ever listen to Tim Ferriss?
Oh man,
here we go.
Oh shit,
here we go.
Is this gonna be like a 3-part answer or something?
Like, good for him. Good for him for the success he has.
Yeah,
love that. But man, it's easy to be that successful and talk to everyone you want to talk when you're on top of Silicon Valley.
Oh,
I see what he's getting
that's
at.
Cynical.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty cynical. No offense or anything.
No.
It's like
that's your answer. That's
that's a good answer. I accept it. I just think that everybody had to work really hard to get to where they
100%, I agree.
I think that poking holes in why somebody is successful and saying must be easy for them, I don't know what the gain of that is.
The thing is, I think I'm disappointed of Tim Ferriss is he's not, like, never heard about his full story.
Okay.
Interesting.
Like, in the beginning parts, right? Like, he interviews everyone and asks about, like, what's the hardest question? What's the hardest question? But we never heard, or in my opinion, I never heard Tim Ferriss' beginnings.
So why do we
Tough to
focus?
relate to almost more.
Yeah,
than
tough
guess,
to relate
yeah.
to.
Okay.
Tough to relate
Okay.
to.
I
So
can
you
see
feel
that.
like you'd have a stronger connection to him if
Yeah.
he shared a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
I
Because,
feel
like,
ya.
I feel it. Yeah,
Like,
that makes
okay.
sense.
Tribal Mentors was my first introduction to
Yeah.
Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're 40 years old in an identity crisis?
And what?
Like 40 years old, identity crisis?
Okay.
Pardon my French.
Yeah.
Interviews, incredible people.
Pardon my francophone. Sorry, I've been learning French lately. Duolingo. I'm like 3 weeks in.
French is the language, and nice.
French is the language I'm at. I'm doing
Nice.
some stuff. I'm doing some damage. You know, pretty soon I'm going to say a little this. I'm going to say something else. You don't even know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. All right,
I
sorry.
love it.
Continue.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think, like, the question he asked in that book was really cool because you start learning about more people.
Yes.
Gary Vee, Juji Mufu,
Okay.
Terry Crews, whatever, Stiffy Cohen, Matt Fraser, whatever. People in the industry
Yeah.
doing cool shit from their hardest beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but you never heard about like Tim Ferriss answering those questions.
Yeah, but he's the interviewer.
Yeah, but I want to know what the fuck is going on with Tim.
But why should that take? Oh, this is really that cool. So you guys are crazy with the slow. Okay.
No, but that's what my problem.
So, but
Why?
like, aren't you gaining like from the fact that he's able to use his access to ask these questions from highly successful individuals and literally hand that information to you for
for
the
sure.
price of a hard
$40.
copy?
Yeah.
That to you is like not enough.
No.
You're like
No.
more.
I want
I
more.
would like your DNA sequencing.
Oh, dude, 100%. I would love
Yeah.
that. Send that to me.
So
Tim.
is it that you feel something about you is like something in your is like you're skeptical that something about him makes you suspicious?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you don't. Yeah, there's something about him that just got you like. What's your deal?
What's your deal?
Okay, fair enough. Listen, I like that. That's fun. I love
That
those
is
types
fun,
of
yeah.
Okay, who else do you got to continue this question?
With Tim Ferriss, obviously, Joe Rogan from a Inquisit perspective.
Oh, hot take. He likes Joe Rogan. Let's cancel him. Don't you know that guy fucking
Here we go.
eats horse medicine? Hey, don't you know that? Okay, well, I'm canceling this interview. How dare you like him?
No, it's over.
No, he's probably what's made his show so good, aside from a bunch of stuff. The main thing I think of with him is not so much as this or TRT or Dr. Rhonda Patrick, whatever. It's his level of curiosity and how like curious he is when he asks questions. He's just like so like there's no end to it.
Yeah.
And he could talk to everybody for hours, and he does.
Yeah,
Right?
He's got an incredible memory.
Yeah, and he has weekly his memory, right? And every little thing triggers his like,
Bonkers.
and how he's able to retain information. That's
He's got
insane
some of the
to me.
fastest recall I've ever seen.
insane.
in somebody
he goes
that-
on and on
Yeah.
it. So him,
Impressive human being.
Yeah.
Like, guess what, guys? You don't have to agree with everything everybody says to be impressed by them. They
Crazy,
don't have
isn't
to give you their DNA sequence for you to be, impressed with
Wow,
what they're doing.
shots are fired.
I know, right? How dare you come at my Tim like that? You can tell I'm biased, like I'm a big Tim guy, so I'm always feel like personally.
that was my first
attacked.
mentor in
I
podcasting.
feel
and
personally attacked here.
that's like he doesn't
guys-
share.
Actually, Tim
anything.
Ferriss gave me one of my best pieces of advice, not personally,
Ooh, what is
but
it?
from one of his podcasts. I have an extreme fear of flying, and
Yes.
I have different struggles with anxiety, but the fear of flying is a big one. And I remember him talking about how he conquered his anxiety to a certain degree,
Yeah.
and that was by literally sitting back and visualizing the worst case scenario. And he would
Okay,
sit with
yeah,
that
that's
for
good.
a while. He would sit with that for a while. I think that was on his TED Talk. So he's got a really good, like his biggest TED Talk. It's in that one, Conquering Fear, something like that, and sit with it. And just play it out, and then where are you afterwards? And then I started really using that exercise a lot, and it really helped. Like,
just with flying or with
all
what
sorts
other
of things.
thing?
But flying's one of the bigger ones.
Right.
Flying elevators.
I feel like confined space doesn't work really well.
Well, confined space is at 38,000
suck,
feet.
right? It's like
Yeah.
it's like throw me in a tin can and just fucking just.
yeah.
Oh,
hammer throw me into the sky. Right? And just be like, I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand what you're even worried about. Okay, so Tim Ferriss, Joe Rogan, who else do we got?
I think anybody along the way who's kind of given literally any feedback in the in terms of fixing audio. Like my buddy Ben really helped out with like audio and kind of helped like giving me different resources.
Oh, just people that have. I just meant
Yeah.
podcasts in particular. But you know, you could go in any direction you want. Listen. I try to wrangle you in every once in a while.
Yeah, I know.
But you could just tell me to go fuck myself. You're like, Cliff,
I'm trying to do it politely.
I'm answering the
and like,
question the way I want to answer.
Yeah,
the
my own
question.
creative spin.
I
but,
think you gotta have a little heat on these things, man. People tune in for the heat, man.
I'll clip things where it's stirred up or
Just gotta-
premeditated.
All
hate.
right, let's stir the pot. Who was a guest that you were like afterwards? You're like, what a piece of shit.
Ooh.
Present company is not included. You can't say us, Glenn. You agreed.
I was like, how'd
Glenn.
you know?
Glenn, you agreed.
Cliff's
okay.
first appearance, third appearance.
This was a
This one.
verbally binding contract between. Right, Pat? You can't say us, man.
he's allowed to say about me, but not about you, dude.
Yeah,
if
that's
he's
exactly.
because if he
I
says
thought-
about me, I'm right beside him.
That's what you got the good old bobber knockers.
Episode 2 of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look that one up.
Hey?
Look it up.
Will you
Episode
say
2.
the name?
Yeah, his name's Neil Young Gregorius.
Neil Young.
Yeah, man. It's my little brother, dude.
Oh.
Yeah. Afterwards, I'm like, I really shouldn't have done that. Well, it was my birthday for one. I was like,
So you
what?
recorded a podcast on Canada Day?
Yeah. I was like, well, he messaged me
Brilliant
like,
idea.
bro, let's do a podcast. And I was like, sure. And then I recorded it. And then it's up. And afterwards, I was like, well, because here's the thing. I was like, where do you, what are your interests? Like, what are your goals in terms of, like, career? Like, where do you see, how do you develop, whatever I asked. And then he gave me, like, nothing. But then when I'm like, you know what, we'll switch it up. What do you hate that you see every day, right?
Yeah.
Cynical.
Oh, okay.
So, and
Wow.
then he's got like a list of answers. He's like, let me tell you. So I got, he pulled out his phone, and he goes, I hate slow drivers. I hate red lights. I hate people with spoilers on their vehicles. I hate stickers on cars. I hate, drive-thrus. I hate people who think I need more patience. I hate,
Oh, this sounds like an interesting
Yeah.
guest.
I was like,
I want to go.
I was like, ha! Okay, I'm sitting there and like, oh man, and then like, yeah.
I just need to clarify this. Did you just say your brother's name is Neil Young?
Young Gregorius, yeah. Don't get me wrong, the first
Young
8 months when he had
Gregorius, I
Facebook,
get
he
it.
did go by Neil Young.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, and he's
Of course.
and I'm gonna tell him that we talked about him
Is
on the
it-
show so that he watches the episode.
Neil Younger and Gorgeous. Is that what he calls himself when he's around you?
Yeah.
I'm his little brother. I'm younger and gorgeous. That is such a bad joke.
That's not good.
That is really
Like Cliff, I love you, but I hated that.
That
was
was
not
uncomfortable.
good.
That would go on that episode.
I'm gonna
Easy
cut that
Way.
out.
Yeah. At episode 200.
What a piece of shit. That time.
man.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but now, biggest resource of the show.
Resource.
Resource.
What do you mean by that? Like just person?
Person that helps you find guests.
Are you like? I feel like you're leading the witness.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Me
You
to
want-
say him?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Big time, man.
No,
Who's the best guy sitting next to you with a hat that says
With a
Canada,
mustache and
with
the-
a mustache?
Strongest guy in the country
Exactly.
for 109 kilos.
Yo, tell me about that. Can we?
Yeah, let's
sit
shift.
on that
Let's shift
for a
for
second.
sure.
Sit on
For
that for a
sure.
second.
He's
Yo,
gonna hate
I
it.
was
He
gonna-
hates it. He
No,
doesn't want to talk about
but
it.
seriously,
It's great.
I see some of these videos go up. I don't know. It's Olympic lifting, right? I don't
Yeah.
want to look like a knucklehead, but it's Olympic lifting.
I'm
right?
glad you didn't say
Hold on,
powerlifting.
before you get there, I could see you. You're
roast,
ready.
I could roast him.
Yeah. Oh, you do it. Yeah. He's revved up. He's ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, because I was on the show and I said, like, oh yeah, I do Olympic weightlifting. And it's because it's called that, because you see that at the Olympics. And then he proceeded and asked me, so how's that powerlifting going? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just going to
I don't bench, I don't deadlift, and I don't squat. So you tell me. I was like,
Wow.
All right.
Hostile witness.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
No.
Okay, so
But-
we're going to
yeah,
go back
sorry.
to Olympic lifting.
Yeah. So it's just because it's the one you see in the Olympics, but it's originally called weightlifting.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
Which is
you're
weird.
lifting weights.
Because
Yeah.
you're just lifting.
Okay,
weights.
so we could get in because
The nitty-gritty
If
would be-
you
let's
ever,
shift, let's
if
shift.
you think your brother has a lot of pet peeves, and it may not show because you're like, oh, Cliff, he's so smart, he's so positive, he's so this and that. Dude, you've never met somebody with a bigger laundry list of pet peeves than me. The full-time job of disguising it all. It's funny because I think self-reflectively.
Yeah.
I see when people don't like me. I actually get it sometimes. I'm like. I get it. I get it. Like, I get it.
Oh, I see.
I get it. That's
I see
fucked.
Oh,
That's not to
really?
say that I don't have confidence in myself. Don't
Right.
think that I have, great qualities, great intentions for the most part,
Yeah.
right? But I could see sometimes where there's because I do disguise for some people that think maybe Cliff's not as authentic as he's trying to come across or whatever. There are parts of me that are inauthentic. Like I can't just go around talking constantly about the things that annoy me. I've got a million things that I love. I think that I love harder. I love harder. I love harder. I love harder because I hate passionately. It's that extreme end of the spectrum, right? Not, it's healthy.
But you're
Okay.
passionate. You're passionate.
I'm
about it.
fucking passionate. All right, Pat, back to you. Okay, listen, Olympic lifter picking up big old pieces of weight and throwing them in the sky. Now, Olympic lifting, from what I've noticed, is that one in particular lift that we see, correct?
Yeah, well, the two lifts. So it's a
There's two lifts.
snatch and the clean and jerk. So
Okay, hold on. Clean and jerk. Listen, this is a family podcast.
Dude, we passed that at minute 3 when you asked my most turned on event in the show.
So the
I was
clean
like,
and
all right.
jerk is basically
Clean jerk or clean and jerk. So
Clean
I'm
and
cleaning and I'm jerking. Okay, good.
yeah. It's not like
Yeah, you
take
do
the
it the
brooms
other way
and
around.
then-
If I'm being honest, I do it the other way around.
Jerk and clean. It's a jerk and clean.
Exactly. No wonder you gotta do it so often. You're doing it backwards, son. You gotta add one clean to the end of that and it's over.
I love it. I love how this is going. So basically, the snatch is one fluid movement of hands in a wider grip. You basically
One
deadlift it.
fluid. How are
Yeah.
you not laughing? It's one fluid movement.
He's choosing his words so
It's like,
selectively.
Dude, I am thinking. You know what? This
you
is
are.
analyzing.
You're just next level. All right.
I'm basically doing a Glenn
Okay,
right
so
now.
it's one fluid movement. Okay, this is the clean and jerk we're
This
talking
is the
about.
snatch.
Oh Jesus! I thought we
So
were
you
talking
start
clean and
you
jerk.
start with
Okay.
snatch.
Okay.
So you got 3 attempts. You got to start with the snatch.
I'm saying.
And so
Is it
it's-
purposely all innuendo?
dude, I have no clue, man.
Okay.
I just show up and lift weights because someone
Okay.
told me I could be good at it.
Okay. They looked at you. They're like, "Look at this fucking."
It's all his
burly
joints, man. They
bastard.
look at his knees and his
Yeah,
shins.
look at my
and they're
wrist
like,
and my knees, and
Whoa,
you're like, okay.
dude, y'all can't see this, but that is a. Thick...
Yeah, it's a thick wrist.
Oh,
dude.
did you have to? That scared the shit out of me. The scar here on the back of your hand, Jesus.
Yeah, I got as a kid, I dropped a welding tank for propane on my hand,
That looks like it happened last week.
Yeah.
and this happened last week.
Oh, okay.
But this one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a thick wrist, man.
Anyway,
Okay.
so the snatch is basically in a wide grip from the floor, bring it overhead, and you catch it in an overhead squat.
Or boom.
That's the clean.
Okay.
The clean, it's one fluid movement to the clavicle or the shoulders.
Okay. Barbell, just
Barbell.
so anybody's. So you got a barbell, you got plates on it. Okay.
Yeah. Vroom, and then overhead. So it's a 2-part movement, clean, and then you jerk it overhead.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Very, how can I say this? To some degree, it looks very, very cool or very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But you know what's cooler?
Why?
And I'm like, it's people trying it for the first time.
Okay.
Because they don't truly appreciate it until they do it.
When you say appreciate.
Okay, so I'm
what do
going
you
to
mean?
drop it to
Shoot.
Glenn because Glenn, him and I at the beginning of the year, we went to Toronto to see some of the homies lift weights. And shout out to the Barbanovs in Toronto. We went and trained with them.
Amazing experience.
But Alex Barbanov, world record holder, in this category, Olympic medalist, world champion. Guy is 5'3", 5'5", had 215 kilos over his head in a clean and jerk.
So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. All right. To me, I feel like when I heard 5'3", I heard advantage. Okay. So am I wrong in this? Because I feel
technically, yes, I guess to some.
I'm just saying. It's like, dude, like. It's like you're lifting at such a short distance. My brain, this is my excuse because I'm tall, right? So I'm like, I can't lift that much. It's too far.
But
it's like twice the distance.
But homeboy at 5'5", 5'6", can look at you and be like, oh, you should be able to dunk. You're taller.
Who says I can't?
Okay, well, 5 Cent City. Let's see it.
That's what's up, bro.
Okay.
That's what's up.
But like. He was teaching Glenn how to do those movements.
Yeah.
Like a world champion, like
how
sitting.
How cool is that?
That was pretty cool.
Did you record that?
No.
One for the memories, man. Take it for the ride, dude.
Next time I would do it, but I would want to. I would do it in more of like a private setting because I felt very much like a guest in that one. I was very much in a guest. It would have worked better if it was like tab recording it for him, but
content.
But I think like, that's impressive, right? Like, because Homeboy never did that. Did that with me in the garage for the miss of COVID. But now we're...
But not even, because I never did the lifts that I didn't Olympic lift.
Yeah.
Right? I was just doing my thing. He was doing his. And then...
But you were seeing me train.
Yeah, I was like,
and then we go up there in Toronto, train with them, and then you got a world champion telling Glenn, all right, this is what you're going to do.
Which I didn't know till after the fact, which is hilarious.
Okay.
Wouldn't have changed anything, but I just thought it was really funny.
So, okay. Olympic lift, the clean and jerk... what's the tell me what give me the try to synthesize the the reason, the why. Where's the why? Give me the why.
Why for what?
Help me understand why. Like what is the interest? Why are people interested in it?
Well, okay.
Why do people do it? Right.
I think people are getting in to get stronger and more powerful for their main sport. Right, so like hockey players.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Volleyball players, whatever sport
football,
it is. They do it because they want to get stronger for their sport. But then, after the fact, they're finished their real sport career, especially in Canada. They're like, oh, let's pick it up again because that's the only thing I know how to do.
Yes.
Because like, think about it. Like
Oh wait, hold on. I want to stop you there. They want to pick it up because it's the only thing they know how to do, or just I'm gonna pose another option. There's a benefit to it. Like it makes you stronger, it makes you healthier. Yes. That's what I'm that's what I'm trying to get at.
But it's more of a like second competitive career.
Okay.
So like for myself, I played volleyball till I was 22, and I'm like, well, what's next?
Yeah. So is
then I was like, I could compete in weightlifting and give me something to go to the gym, because if not, I wouldn't be going to the gym.
So it's an awesome driver. It gives you something to focus on, gives you a goal.
Right.
You can have fun.
I could have fun being competitive again.
Can we talk like how outside of that? Okay, so those are psychological, which are great. I love the psychological reasoning. But let's just talk physical though. What are our physical benefits from this particular?
Develop explosiveness, calluses on your hand.
Ooh, I like a good callus.
You know, like I don't.
It feels like somebody else is touching it. Who are you, Mr. Man? How did you get in here? I don't remember leaving any dog.
I love how like
what is wrong with him?
Man, I could see him on Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? Like. Or like
I could do as himself, like no costumes, just impressions alone.
Yeah.
Like I'm not asking.
Or the
you,
last one
just...
laughing, anyways. Or like last one laughing, or something like that. I would totally see it. But there's no technically big drivers to it, unless you're like part of like
part donkey. You know,
no, but I mean like part of a people that's done it for a while.
Yeah.
Because it's a very underground sport.
Yeah. I do notice, so it is fascinating to see from an outside perspective. It to me, it looks extraordinarily difficult. Like, it does not look easy. Like, I don't know. That's what I was kind of, when you were like, it changes people's, like, appreciation of it. I was curious about what you meant, because I'm going to be frank with you. I can't imagine somebody sitting back and going like, that looks easy. Like, you look at it and you're like, that looks
difficult.
It looks difficult.
Yeah.
It looks scary. Like, it looks...
man.
Every single time you post one of those videos, okay, I feel nervous. Like, you're literally, like, I'm just like,
Yeah, your the fails are
I
like,
am
Well, dude.
terrified.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Okay, you want to
Yes.
hear a couple things? A couple of scary stories?
No.
Okay, so
I got a 2-part story. Here we are. It's like, everything got to be a 2-parter with you guys?
always. There's the first.
Always
It's a
got to have the
millennial
sequel
thing.
already.
the,
It's a millennial
the
thing.
premium.
Exactly. That's the premium content.
That
yeah.
premium content, yo. Like, my fiance broke her wrist weightlifting.
All right. Yeah, weightlifting.
Hey-oh.
She was lifting something heavy. Let me tell
That's
you.
what I'm saying. They don't call me Donkey Kong for nothing.
At nationals, dude, someone below their elbow.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yes.
But
You're not.
it's-
You
he's
looked
like,
at me like I
yeah.
was gonna be surprised that somebody injured
No,
themselves
but I mean,
doing
like,
this. Like, yeah.
It's a very fun sport. And it could
Do you
be
want to hear a funny
very
joke?
beneficial. Let me finish this.
Okay,
But
good.
when it goes wrong,
Yeah.
it goes wrong quick.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, it's
He's like,
obvious. It's very
yeah.
visually obvious that that's like
Yeah,
we're
dude.
living our life on the edge. Nobody's surprised. Like,
you
it's
live
like,
your life on the edge because you only do squats when you have diarrhea.
that's what I'm saying. it's like nobody was like, oh my god, I wonder if you could hurt yourself by throwing 500 pounds over your head or whatever the weight amount is. That's crazy. Is
Give
that
or
a crazy
take.
amount?
Yeah. No, that's
okay.
roughly.
Yeah,
But
it
man,
was
like I think physically, there's more mental toughness or psychological toughness you gain from lifting weights than anything. Well,
Yeah.
dude, think about it, like all of us. We're still going to the gym, training, doing some stuff that we won't love, and we just feel mentally fucking great after this.
Yeah, man.
and sexually aroused.
Yeah,
Usually.
definitely.
Do you
I
think
feel
though, like,
very
do
alpha
you,
after
do
I
you think so? For anybody watching, that's like, yo, dude, I gotta get a little bit more jam in the old,
man.
Tootsie Roll,
Those
right?
Cialis.
Do you think? Because this is your
Natural Cialis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The natural stuff. You're somebody that's in this industry. Have you read or experienced anything where you're like, dude, being able to just clean and jerk, it's like it creates a strength, a virileness, a testosterone. Like, do you know of any effects that something like this?
100%.
Okay,
man.
tell me about it.
Let's get into it.
Hold on.
All right.
Go, do it.
Well, man, like, you show up somewhere and you're like, I'm the strongest person here.
Okay, so confidence.
Oh, dude, man. Like, this morning, I took 400 to the clavicle. I had 400 pounds on my clavicle doing cleans this morning.
Yeah.
It's like,
Say it again.
say it again.
Yeah.
Say it with your chest, right?
Say it slower.
Do you?
No, but I think there's some sort of like conquerness, I guess, to it. Because you see that on
like
the
it
program.
feels like that inner, like,
yeah, like
we could conquer.
like take it over kind
That's
of thing.
it, yeah.
Right? Like, I see it
Some
on my...
primal stuff. We're getting into
It is, yeah.
And I knew we would get into some
Evolutionary
primal
stuff.
But, like, I mean, like, I'm sure in you guys' life, you'll feel that same kind of driver.
I don't.
You beat home...
So sure. He's like, nope.
You don't? Even after, like, beating homeboy...
That's
in
why
tennis
he's
or something?
asking. Yeah, man.
Problem is, I've never beat him yet.
Okay,
I've
well-
only beat him once.
But how you felt after? You felt like an alpha dog, I bet.
No, I was exhausted, and I beat him immediately again. I should have given it. There was not enough of a gestation period. Listen, I'm going to
That
give
might
you
do
what
it.
you want, though, Pat. I think I understand what you're asking me, and of
Yes.
course, everybody knows.
Dude,
that.
okay, well,
I
then-
hope. You know what? Actually, sometimes I sit around, and this is real talk. I'm not even being silly here. I do want everybody. You can't not laugh, though, right?
Yeah.
Because it seems like this is a setup. But I honestly do want everyone to experience that feeling of just feeling like on
Alpha
top of
dog,
the world.
yeah.
And not everybody
Well,
gets
dude.
that, because a lot of people are afraid of the rejection. Let's tie it back
Man,
around, right?
amazing.
That rejection.
Hey, go full
Yeah.
circle. Like, man, what you've done, what you've accomplished in the last year. You've accomplished something fucking
I'm
gangster.
not willing to do this. I'm not willing.
It's like, you guys can have
I
it,
did
but
not sign up.
No,
for
but
this.
no, man. I mean, like, you put the light on me, I'll put the light on you.
Let's watch how he pivots his way out of this.
Yeah, probably a 3-part
Yeah,
question.
is this an 8-part? Let me give you my 8-part answer. So
No, but man, like, first off, you said like the anxiety of flying. You flew to LA, do a full expo. You get on TV, man. Biggest news network in the States. Probably in the fucking world too. Man, this is like, you finish this and you're like, fuck, man. I'm gonna take your spot, JT.
That's what I'm saying.
JT, get the fuck out.
Wait,
It's mine.
who's JT?
Justin Trudeau.
Oh, we're taking over the country.
Oh, yeah, that's
we got
basically
I'm
this.
what
sure you felt that way.
Well,
at
I've
some
seen
point.
a few signs that I think they're going to get some easy support. I see those
Easy
signs.
support,
Listen, this
yeah.
isn't political, all right? Don't make this political, Glenn. This is just a Glenn, this is him. He tries to make everything political. Hey,
But I mean,
listen,
like-
tune in to Polarizing Tuesday with Life After High School.
But I mean, like,
What am I doing with my life? What am I? That's what it should be. It just
That'd be so
it should be like
good.
that. Just exasperated. Life after high school. What am I doing with my life?
Just start there and
Listen,
go.
Pat.
But
I
like-
could do this all day.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. Very lovely. Very kind. Do I think I'm the greatest? Yeah. Okay.
good.
Do I think
Thank
there's
you.
never been anyone better? Well, of course. Right.
Thanks, man.
Do I love that anybody that dislikes me is cringing right now? Oh, do I ever? I just do this to see my enemies fail. Ultimately, it's all that matters. Listen, what are you driven by? Just hatred, pettiness. Nothing will get you over the finish line quicker and more vigorously than fucking anger and hatred. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's awesome.
No,
I
dude.
love it. It's been dope. It's been a dope
Right.
adventure.
Like, I think that's cool, and that's probably the same thing I feel when, like, I finish on top of the podium. It's like, you feel gangster shit. Like, you could take
The
over
podium, that's your girlfriend's name, right?
No.
Hello. I am sorry to your fiance. I apologize. I wasn't talking about her though. I was talking about your girlfriend. Sorry.
I love how fast you are at this.
Can't help it. Yeah.
Glenn on trial, now it's like this is Patty on trial.
Patty
Holy
on trial.
fuck.
I know. Well, you guys separated me. You put me on the other side of the table, so I was like, okay, this is versus. Yeah. Like, who versus who? I guess it's me. I better be ready. Come up, guns blazing. Exactly.
Fuck, talk to me, Goose. Goose, talk to me. Talk to me, Dad. Dad, talk to me.
Yeah. Dude,
That mustache is inspired by that.
yeah, 100%. I've got a need for speed. Yeah, dude.
Danger zone.
This is fucking highway to
The danger zone.
Yeah, I love this. This was awesome. I feel like this is such a fucking wicked note to wrap it up on. Unless Pat had more questions, unless Glenn had more questions. Listen, I don't want to completely just take control of this thing, but
I love how you took
You
control.
guys are
You're
hosting.
basically.
I don't have to
you're
do
basically
nothing for
Tom
this,
Cruise
man.
here.
I just record.
You're basically Tom Cruise. Here.
yeah, exactly.
I'm basically my
just a foot taller.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is he
I'm
that
sorry. Listen, he's small, but it doesn't matter. He's beautiful. He is
sex appeal
probably
on it.
one of the most talented actors ever. Listen, making a Tom Cruise short joke was such low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
We gotta-
literally.
Yeah,
the
well,
low-hanging
literally, exactly. We gotta do. I'm talking about his nutsack, right? It's like, are his balls big? No, he's just really close to the ground. I feel like we got to do 20 more minutes just to cleanse the palate of that bad joke going on. I just want to wrap this up because I love you guys. You guys are awesome. This was so
We
fun.
can do
I
this
think-
all day.
Yeah, I think we should do this more often,
Yeah,
Glenn.
I
Keep
love
it
that.
up. 100. I can't wait till 1,000.
Thanks,
Dude,
man.
this is awesome, man. I just hope more people tune in and support you. If you're watching
you,
this,
man.
share it. You know,
Thank you,
I think you're just gonna keep killing it. And I mean, this is all about repetition, man. Keep on keeping on.
I love
Like
this.
AI said, we're talking about practice.
Are we talking about
Not
practice?
practice.
That's an Allen Iverson reference
Yeah,
from
man.
2004,
Right
I
in the
think.
day.
I was a big 76er
Oh,
fan.
I mean, yeah, I loved Allen Iverson. Dude, we didn't even talk sports. We could have
No.
talked sports
We
on
can do
here.
this again. We'll do
Yeah,
it again.
yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Just
Got
because-
any closing statements for
Man, I'll take it. You take it.
Yeah, that's all.
Close
it's all
off for
you.
us.
It's all
Oh,
you,
jeez.
bro.
It's all you, dude. Usually we say thank you to the guest, but now any
No, this
closing
is great.
Closing
I was
statement.
Really glad you guys are able to do this. I think it was hilarious. On being uncomfortable is a good sign of you're growing, I guess. Right? You're in a state of growth, whatever. But no, serious note.
I'm currently in a state of growth. I'm just saying, that handlebar must have. Listen, that's the last one. I'm done. Sorry.
I love you guys. Thanks for doing this, and yeah, that's it. I hope we do this again. So, I love my dude. Thank you, man. Thank you guys. Fuck, awesome.
Kumite.